Hello, hello, my lovely, beautiful Libras. Welcome back to the channel today. We are going to be doing your weekly readings for April 8th through the 21st. We're going to go ahead and pull your cards for the upcoming weeks here. Now, Libra, on April 8th, we have a new moon in Aries, and this is not just any new moon, this is a solar eclipse, or at least part of a solar eclipse. This is going to be a major time of transformation over the next 6 months. This eclipse is occurring on the Aries-Libra axis, and so about 6 months from now, during Libra season for you, this is going to be when we see another eclipse happening, right? During this 6 months, this is a major transformative process, and any intentions that we set on this new moon happening in the sign of Aries is going to be something that we want to see expand or shift over these upcoming 6 months. Your reading last week for the previous 2 weeks talked about the things that are being brought to light by the Aries full moon. The Libra full moon. And Libra, as we said, this is you. This is you. It's happening on your axis, happening within your signs. So this is going to be some major transformative stuff for you. Pay attention to what house Libra is in. If you know your birth chart, if you're aware of it, check out what house Libra falls in for you, because you're going to be seeing where on this Libra Aries axis, where this eclipse season is going to be impacting you the most. For example, if it's happening in your first house, this is the house of the self. If it's happening in your fourth house, you're going to see big changes about your family, houses of work, things like that. Spirituality, death, rebirth, whatever's happening, wherever in your chart it's happening for you is where it's going to be impacting you the most. So let's go ahead and take a look at your oracle cards real quick. We start off with the Rhino Spirit, which says, overcome any obstacle. So yes, there is going to be some obstacles, some challenges brought up during these 6 months. And it's not from a place of punishment, Libra. It's not being brought up with the intent to punish you or harm you in any way. These obstacles are actually meant to be seen as opportunities to flex your new skills that you're learning. Your next card here is the Scarab Beetle Spirit, which says, magic works through you. So yes, doing magic, transforming things, overcoming these obstacles, it's stuff that happens through you, through your magic, through your own personality, through your own person. These changes are happening through you, and through you, this process is changing you. I mean, all of this stuff is with the intent to transform you, to bring you better into alignment with your truest self, for the highest good. And your last oracle card here is the Parrot Spirit, which says, watch your words. We are in the middle not even in the middle, we just began Mercury retrograde on April 1st. So at the time of me filming this, it is April 3rd. So we have only just begun Mercury retrograde. Mercury is the planet of communication. And so things about communication, when this planet is retrograde, can be kind of thrown off. Oftentimes we see people talking about miscommunications, having difficulty with like emails, texts, phone calls, things like that. Even transportation, things with your vehicles can have some challenges happening at this time. Watch your words, because during Mercury retrograde, all of this energy is happening that can make it very confusing. You can say one thing and it can be interpreted very easily as something else. So there's, miscommunication happening. Watch your words, be very careful and intentional about the things that you are saying, especially about yourself and especially around other people. Now, let's take a look at your tarot cards here. I'm just going to take a quick look and see what I am seeing here. I see the Justice card, which is actually the card for you, Libra. This is the card in the major arcana that is associated with you. So this card is actually showing up in the reverse in midway through week 2 during your reading. We'll get to the exact moment of this card as we go along, but it's showing me that there's going to be some major transformations happening specifically with yourself. When this card shows up in the reverse, it can mean that we are disconnected from our highest self. We're disconnected from our sense of self. We can find that the actions or the things that we are saying and doing at this time don't necessarily align with who we envision ourselves to be. We can, say words or say things that we don't necessarily mean, and we realize it after the fact that maybe we weren't exactly operating in our best interest at that point. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with your cards here. Now, remember I said on April 8th, on the very Monday that we are beginning our reading on, is when the Aries eclipse is happening. This new moon, happening in the sign of Aries. Now, new moons are a point. They're not a sign. They're a point when we set intentions. We set an intention with the blank slate of the moon. The moon is completely empty, void of light. And when that happens, this moon is open to all possibility. We want to see this moon grow and expand over this time period, normally up until the next full moon. So it's usually a very small timeline, about a 2-week timeline here. But because this is an eclipse, this is a big point. This is a major point of energy that we're going to be wanting to see expand over the next 6 months. So the intentions that we set on this new moon happening for Aries on the 8th, this new moon is something that we're setting intentions for, something that we're processing, I guess, over these next 6 months. And your card that shows up on the 8th here is the Hierophant in reverse. Now, the Hierophant, when it's in the upright, this is a card about tradition. This is a card about hierarchy. This is things being the way that they have always been. When this card shows up in the reverse, it tells me that, Libra, you are moving outside of the realms of tradition. You are doing stuff in a very unconventional way. So you may be trying to, for some of you, starting a business outside of maybe a traditional buying and selling or providing product sort of thing. You may be into some of the unconventional or untraditional arts, things like tarot reading. That is not, it's kind of been a bit more in the conventional world at this point, but I would say tarot, metaphysical things like that, they're kind of in this other space where it's not exactly conventional. When you think of conventional, it's like a product. You're not selling vacuum cleaners, right? Or I don't know, maybe for you selling vacuum cleaners seems pretty unconventional. It depends on you, the world that you live in, and what you end up doing within your own life. But this card in the reverse, as we said, it's moving outside of tradition, moving outside of conventionality. Actually, I'm going to pick this card up and I'm going to show it to you again, because this, when you look at this is like a pyramid, right? With the eye at the top. It's kind of about how when you move up in the ranks of spirituality, when you move up in the ranks of life, you have more knowledge and information that is revealed to you. And, this eye is meant to represent the all-seeing eye at the top of the pyramid, at the top of the mountain. When you are climbing a mountain, when you have a goal in your mind that is unconventional, you're climbing a mountain that nobody else has climbed before, Libra, there's no map. There's no guideline to get you to the top. And you are going to have to be the one to kind of bushwhack and pave your own way along this journey. It's, there's the very traditional, regular path that a lot of people can take, the well-worn path. And Libra, the Hierophant in reverse shows me that you are, over these next 6 months, you're expanding things outside of tradition. So with that, your next card here that we're seeing is the 8 of Swords, which is about freeing yourself. So you're freeing yourself from convention. Maybe things within life that have seemed very conventional, having a 9-to-5 job, having the perfect house, perfect car, 2.5 kids, dog and cat kind of thing. Maybe these conventional things have been something that you have been trying to achieve for some time, Libra. And the 8 of Swords is you kind of pulling off these chains. It's you opening yourself up to the idea that, conventionality has been something that has been keeping you stuck. It's been keeping you, blind to the world around you. It's been keeping you chained at the wrist and trapped within your life. You haven't been able to express yourself to the fullest. And moving along this path of unconventionality is allowing you to free yourself. It's opening yourself up to the world around you, freeing yourself within your mind and freeing yourself within your inner sight. Not just like external sight. I'm not talking just like, things around you having better eyesight. I'm talking like the inner sight, the inner knowing about what is happening around you. Following the 8 of Swords, you have the 5 of Wands in reverse. Now, this is what I like to call my too many chefs in the kitchen card. It's everybody trying to exert their will at the same time. So you can have someone telling you that you need to do this, you need to do that. No, you need to not listen to this person. You need to listen to me and go do this instead. There's so many differing opinions and so many people trying to tell you the way that you should do things, Libra. And when this card shows up in the reverse, it tells me that you are distancing yourself from people's opinion, people's will over you. I feel like there's so many people telling you that you need to stick to tradition. You need to go to college, get the perfect job, get the perfect house, all these sorts of things. And the 5 of Wands in reverse is you saying, you're telling me that I need to do this and this and this and this, but like, those things are not making me happy. Those things are not going to fulfill me. They're not the vision that I want for myself. And moving away from these people's opinion, moving away from these people's idea for you about what you should be doing can cause some conflict. People don't like to be told that they're wrong or that you're not going to listen to them, right? People all have their own opinions and their own ideas about what you should be doing, and some of them may not like hearing from you, Libra, that you are doing things differently. So I would say prepare yourself a little bit for some backlash about it, but that 5 of Wands in reverse, I feel like is just you basically saying that even if there is conflict happening, even if all these people have this opinion about me, they can have their opinion about me, but like over there, I'm not going to let it affect my day-to-day life right now. Following the 5 of Wands in reverse, you have the 7 of Wands, which, this is about your convictions. This is about standing up and defending what you believe in. Essentially the hills you will die on, right? Because this person is literally standing on a hill high up. They have the high ground defending what they believe in. They have all these other wands coming up against them. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Libra, there's people within your life trying to tell you that you can't do this. There are people trying to tell you that what you're doing is, unconventional or wrong or whatever the case may be. But Libra, you are strong in your beliefs. You are strong in the idea that what you are doing is for you, is meant to be for you. Overcome any obstacle with that rhino spirit. I mean, literally, this is overcoming. This is not just overcoming, but this is winning. This is winning and standing at the top and saying, I'm not going to let anybody bring me back down because I know what I'm meant to do. I know what I'm supposed to be doing and what not even supposed to, because that kind of has like a piece of obligation about it, right? If you're supposed to be doing something, then if you don't end up doing it, it feels like a failure, right? I don't say that it's supposed to. I don't want to say that it's what you're supposed to be doing. It's what you want, what you desire to do. For all we know, at the very end of this, you're going to get to the end and you're going to be like, that was fun, but it's not where I exactly want to be. It's like going along the journey, and once you start going, you realize, oh, hey, this isn't actually where I want to be at this time. Following the 7 of Wands, Libra, you actually have the Queen of Wands in reverse. Now, this, I feel like, Libra, this is you having difficulty with your confidence a little bit. Now, you can have your, let me explain this, because you have your convictions, right? You know that what is for you is for you. But sometimes I think that, we can still have these little teeny tiny bits of doubt within ourselves. I feel like even though you are moving in this direction of unconventionality, right? You're breaking free from the chains of what people are telling you to do. And you're defending your beliefs against naysayers and other people. But it can sometimes give us this little piece of like self-doubt throughout it where we, start to kind of question ourselves a little bit internally about like, maybe they're right, Maybe I can't do this way. Maybe what they're saying is right. And I want to just let you know, Libra, like, it's okay. It's totally normal for you to have little inklings of doubt, right? Doubt is the moment where we can, I feel like it's an opportunity for us to revisit our convictions, revisit why we are doing what we are doing. So, understanding your why behind what you are shifting, what you are moving away from in the realm of conventionality. For some of you, you know, if this is an unconventional relationship, maybe you are finding yourself in some sort of poly relationship or LGBT relationship, and you're having a lot of people, you know, say things to you about it, being naysayers about it. You may have kind of moments of doubt where you're wondering if, you know, maybe they are right. Maybe I'm not meant to be in this partnership. Maybe I'm not actually the, you know, label that I think that I am. But I think it's time for you to, it's an opportunity for you to revisit, right? You know yourself better than anybody else. And even though other people on the outside can have their opinions about you, it's really you on the inside. So revisit your convictions, revisit your why, revisit yourself internally, connect with your self-confidence. Understand that you know yourself better than anybody else. Other people can have their opinions, and yeah, it brings up this little bit of self-doubt for you, but I feel like you know yourself better than anybody else. It feels like those moments of doubt within this journey. Even though you are still, it feels like you're still moving along towards this, and I do see some really good stuff for you happening in week 2 here. It feels like that little bit of self-doubt that happens. So this little bit of self-doubt, I feel like it's just kind of this small little road bump that happens for you. Road bump, speed bump, roadblock. It's like this little moment that kind of causes you to just kind of be like, oof, okay, no, we're going to keep going. That's what I'm getting from that. It's not necessarily about how you're seeing yourself, kind of. It's more just that, you know, dealing with so many naysayers, it kind of gives you this moment of self-doubt of wondering if maybe they're right. Libra, they're not. I'm going to tell you right now, they are not. You know yourself better than anybody else. Following the Queen of Wands in reverse, you have the Hanged Woman in reverse. Now, this card, it's always funny to me when it shows up in reverse because you see this person in the upright, and in the upright, this person is in the reverse. It's about shifting perspective, and it's also about finding yourself straddling 2 different worlds, 2 different realities. So you can have one foot in one world, the world where you are currently living, the world where you are currently inhabiting. And especially it's the realm of conventionality, right? You're straddling the world between conventionality and unconventional things. Maybe you're thinking about moving away from corporate life and moving into like van life. Maybe you're straddling the world between 2 different worlds, really. And the Hanged Woman in reverse, this is a person who is kind of hesitating on moving into this new world. So I feel like that's partially because of this self-doubt moment that you have with the Queen of Wands in reverse. I feel like this does kind of bring up these little bits of hesitation for you because you start doubting yourself a little bit. You start to doubt you start to doubt the path forward. You start to doubt moving into this new world for yourself. And actually, your card following the Hanged Woman in reverse is the World in reverse. Now, the World, this is the final card of the major arcana. It's numbered 21, but it's actually the 22nd card of the major arcana. And this card, when we see it, it is signaling the end of a cycle, the end of a major cycle, to start again. This is when we reintegrate back with Source. We ascend to Source, to universal consciousness, collective consciousness, and we become one with the world. We become one with the universe. Only to start the cycle over again, right? Because things are always moving and shifting, and there's always this cycle constantly going. When this card shows up in the reverse, it's almost as if this world, this portal or reality is not quite opened to you yet. And I mean, with the Hanged Woman in reverse, we talked about moving into a new world for yourself. So this is really like this world is not prepared for you just yet. You're doubting your path, you're doubting or have this little moment of doubt about your next step forward, you know. The example of corporate life to van life, right? Maybe you are hesitating. You don't necessarily have your van set up yet. You're not quite ready to make the full jump into this world, but it's something that you really want to do. It's something that you really desire. The world showing up at all, like in your reading, the world card showing up at all means that, you know, this energy is present. But with it in the reverse, it just feels like it's not quite ready. Like a fruit that is not quite ripe. You know, the fruit is still on the plant, but it's not necessarily ready to eat yet. The world is upside down. Your world is upside down at this time. I mean, yeah, it can kind of have this weird feeling about being in the upside down, being in some sort of weird mirror reality where things don't quite feel right. Almost like Alice falling through like Alice falling into Wonderland, you know? It has this surreal quality about it where things have their own rules and you haven't quite figured out what it is or what it represents at this point. We move on to week 2 here with your next set of cards here. And we had the World card. We had that idea of the fruit not being ripe yet. And moving on to your first card for week 2, you actually have the 7 of Pentacles in reverse. Talk about fruit, right? In the upright, this is someone who is nurturing and watering a tree for growth to see this harvest of fruit from this tree. So this card is in the reverse. There is still some nurturing for this that needs to be done. So as we said, you know, with the example of like van life, you may find that your van build is not quite ready or prepared for you yet. This is the nurturing process, the work that we put into it. So Libra, there's still more work here that needs to be done. There's still more nurturing that needs to happen before you can have the harvest and move into the upright reality of this World card here. So there's still a little bit more work that needs to be done. Do not despair, Libra. This is, I feel like what you are working towards is really like what you desire. It's what you desire in your heart for your life. And, you know, good things don't come easy. It takes work. It takes consistent effort. And, you know, you are, with that 7 of Pentacles in reverse, you know, I feel like you are putting in the effort. It's just that stuff is not quite where it needs to be yet. And there is more work that needs to be done. Now, you can kind of resent that a little bit. I feel like the 7 of Pentacles in reverse, some of you do have a little bit of resentment about this work that still needs to be done. Now, outside of the example of van life, you know, that can mean a lot of different things. It can mean that we still need to do a little bit more research about things before we move into it. You know, if you're wanting to switch to an unconventional job for yourself, there's still a little bit more research and work that needs to go in before you can, say, put in your 2 weeks at your lame 9-to-5 corporate job, right? You don't want to just quit your job and then not have a business location, not have a business plan, not have a license or a bank account or savings or something like that, you know? You want to make sure that you are fully prepared before you shift into this new world for yourself. Following the 7 of Pentacles in reverse, you have the Wheel of Fortune. Now, this is really, really positive for you, Libra. This is saying that luck is on your side. The wheel is always turning. This is actually the wheel of karma, in a way. Karma, it kind of gets this rap of like, what you do, you receive back. And that's kind of similar, but karma's a little bit more than that, right? Karma is actually neither good nor bad. It's just the idea of things having a greater outward reaction. So, you know, karma doesn't have this idea of punishing you or giving back to you. It's actually the domino effect from our actions, right? So we'll do something and it has maybe an unintended consequence, and it affects somebody else further down too. Like if you've ever thrown stones into the water and you see like these ripple effects come outward, well, all of these ripple effects, they're the ripple effect of our actions. You know, throwing the stone, bringing it into the water is the action. And the ripple effect is the reaction. And if you throw a bunch of stones into the water, representing, you know, all of the actions that we take, or that, you know, our people throughout our life take as well, they have these outward reactions, these outward ripples that, you know, meet other ripples at other points. And they kind of have this way of creating new ripples and rippling out in these really beautiful patterns, but with unintended consequences further down the line. And that's really what karma is. Karma is not it's not some sort of entity or energy saying that, oh, you did something bad to somebody, I'm going to punish you. It's really not. It's just that someone does something bad and it has a consequence that ripples out from themselves, you know, receiving ripple effects from, it ripples out from you. And, you know, it has this way of kind of bouncing back to you in ways that we don't always intend. So the Wheel of Fortune is, you know, it's got this bit of karma about it. It's neither good nor bad. The wheel is just the ever-shifting reality of life. So in those moments where it feels like life is going really, really good, and you find that things shift, and all of a sudden it feels like a lot of stuff is happening that is challenging you. Or when you are going through a really, really rough time, and it feels like the moment when the sun comes out through the clouds for you. The wheel is just the example of the way that things tend to shift, and the ever-changing nature of life and reality around us. So when it shows up in the upright, it does have a very positive feeling about it for you, Libra. It does say that at this time, you know, luck is on your side and that things are kind of moving in your favor. So, you know, while things may not necessarily feel fully ripe for you, while things may not necessarily feel fully actualized for you at this time, the Wheel of Fortune is saying that, like, luck is on your side, the world is on your side right now, and that things are moving how they are meant to be moving at this time. Following the Wheel of Fortune, you have the Ace of Wands. And if I could pick any two positive, really good cards to have together, I would put these two, because not only is luck, not only is things moving in your favor at this time, but the Ace of Wands signals a spark of inspiration, motivation. This is creativity. This is us getting the idea or the spark, an epiphany almost, that allows us to move into this new space. So I feel like, you know, this Ace of Wands is almost like the match that ignites big changes. And the Wheel of Fortune is, with these two combined together, it feels like Chariot energy. Chariot from the Major Arcana. This is like things moving very, very fast in your favor. Trusting that universe, source, God, whatever it is that you believe in, trusting that things are moving you towards greater purposes. But the Ace of Wands is like the idea or the motivation for yourself. This could even be the original piece that brought you to desiring this unconventional thing for yourself. So the Ace of Wands showing up, some of you could be receiving some sort of help from someone around you that gives you the inspiration to start. Something could happen that inspires you to take more action. Or as we said, some sort of epiphany, right? Something that helps affirm to you that you are on the right path and actually gives you a tool or maybe a missing piece that you didn't quite have before. Maybe something that wasn't within your, it almost feels like something being revealed to you that you didn't quite see before. Something becoming aware of something that, you know, if you're doing a van build, right? Maybe this is someone telling you of some sort of ordinance or regulation that maybe you didn't know about before, that you say, oh, okay, yeah, now I can work with this. Now I can, you know, work with this. And some of you, maybe it's like a finding out about a grant program for a project that you want to work on, where you're like, oh my gosh, okay, now I have the means or the tools to be able to complete this thing. It feels very positive. Moving on from the Ace of Wands, we move to that Justice card in reverse. The one that I talked about in the very beginning of this reading here. So yes, we did talk about the Justice card a little bit, but Libra, as we said, this is you. This is you and your energy. This is you in the Major Arcana. Now, with this change, with this transition that is happening for you, moving into this new world for yourself, you have to change as well. this change that is happening for you is going to completely transform yourself from the inside out. You know, you find the World card actually here in the reverse as well as the Justice card. Eventually, they will be moved into the upright, and this Justice card here is going to be something new for yourself. It's going to be, it's almost as if on this path, this journey that you're taking to achieve this, you know, unconventional life, to move into this new reality that you want for yourself, is going to change you and transform you from the inside out. So yeah, if you're wanting to do van life, or you're wanting to start up some sort of business, or, you know, if this is for some of you, if you're LGBT and you're actually like transitioning, this is changing you from the inside out. It's changing how you are showing up in this world. It's changing the way that you view yourself, as well as, you know, the way that you express yourself outwardly. It does feel like a positive thing. Now, because this is in the reverse, this is a little bit of a disconnect, right? It's saying that you're not quite in this place of self-actualization. You're not quite in this place where you are fully expressing yourself. But as we said, you know, this is a long process that's happening here. I know I'm reading for these 2 weeks, but really with this first card starting off, this is really talking about these 2 weeks after your decision to, you know, set this intention for the next 6 months. So while we are talking about this, you know, it's not happening in just these 2 weeks that you're discovering yourself, but this entire 6-month journey moving onward is changing things for you from the inside out. This entire journey over these next 6 months is going to bring you closer to this. It's going to bring you from this reversed idea of yourself to this upright. So along this process, something will bring you closer and closer to being able to fully express yourself. Libra, I feel like this is a really, I really love this reading for you. I mean, overall, this feels like a very, very positive change for you. Let's talk about these next 3 cards, however. I really want to discuss this. I feel like a lot of this is, obviously it's related to this Justice card, but when we change things about ourselves, right? When we shift and we start moving as a different person, there's this domino effect that happens. We start to let go of the things that no longer serve us. And this can be, you know, people, things, addictions, things like this. We start letting old things go because we can't bring it with us into this new reality. This change that is happening for you inside, this change that's happening for you personally, Libra, is something that's going to require a lot of strength. We have the Strength card in reverse. So through this 6-month time period for you, Libra, your strength is going to be tested. Your strength of will, your strength of heart, your strength and your convictions about who you are, what you believe, how you are showing up. It's not going to be easy, right? Nothing, as we said, nothing good comes easy. It is going to require work. And there may be moments along this path where you start to, you know, come into pieces of self-doubt, where you start to wonder if you have the ability to make it through this. But Libra, you also have the Rhino spirit, as we said at the very beginning. Overcome any obstacle. Your strength of will is very strong, Libra. Overcome any obstacle. These things, as we said, are meant to strengthen you. They're not here to punish you. They're not here to put you off your path and to punish you and to, you know, take you back to conventionality. It's meant to strengthen you, you know, it like weightlifting, right? If you can lift light weights and you can still receive, you know, benefit from that, but really the most benefit, the most change comes from lifting heavy, exerting yourself. You know, not overdoing it and not hurting yourself, of course. We don't want to hurt ourselves with our strength. However, you know, I feel like it's mostly about how there are going to be a lot of challenges, and your strength of will, your strength about keeping going through this path is going to be challenged and tested. However, there is a beautiful reward. Keep your eye on the prize and the world that you want to move into. Keep your eye on the result that you want, because that's going to help. It's going to help keep you invigorated towards moving towards this. Now, as we said, when you change, things happen. It's going to test your strength. It's also going to sometimes be a little bit lonely. I mean, we have this 5 of Pentacles in reverse. Now, when you look at this in the upright, this is a person like sitting by themselves in front of a, what it looks like a gravestone of some sort. So, you know, going on a journey, when we change ourselves, we can find that it can be pretty lonely because maybe the people that are in our life currently don't understand us, or they don't have the same vision for ourselves that we do. They can be some of these naysayers that are trying to keep us stuck. If this is like a change towards addiction, right? Sometimes we can find that the people we were keeping company with are enabling our addictions, and we have to cut ourselves off from them because we want to be able to live a new life. We want to be able to move into a new life, and we realize that these people can't come with us. So it can be very lonely. 5 of Pentacles is also about kind of being in like a lack mindset, about being poor. With this in the reverse, you know, you may not have I feel like this change, you know, it can be something that requires a lot from you money-wise, in a way. You may feel as though you don't have as much money as before. It may require, or you may see a loss in your finances. However, I feel like finances is not your goal with this. Your goal is not to be rich. Your goal is not to have all the money in the world, but your goal is not so much money oriented. And because of that, because your goal is not money or financial gains, right? You'll see a loss, but I don't feel like it's affecting you. Especially like, as we said with van life, right? If you're thinking about shifting to van life, I don't know why I keep talking about van life. It's just what's coming up in my head as an easy example, right? Obviously, when you shift jobs to van life, one of the things is that you want to work less so that you can enjoy your life more. And because you're living very minimally within your means, you can afford to reduce your finances because you don't need as much to survive. You don't need as much to stay afloat. So 5 of Pentacles in reverse, I do feel like there is a little bit of this financial loss, but I don't feel like it's something that's bad. I don't feel like it's something that is, I don't feel like it's something that's negative in any way. If this is about starting your own business for yourself, you know, of course it's going to require some amount of investment from you, some amount of money. So yes, your physical savings will reduce. Moving away from a job that gives you a traditional paycheck that you can rely on, moving to a world where you don't have a traditional paycheck that you can rely on. At first you may see, yes, a decrease in finances, but really eventually over time the hope is that your finances increase because you're not having to pay an overhead. You're not paying the big man instead of yourself. Now, your final card here, Libra, for this week is the 3 of Cups in reverse. Now, with the 5 of Pentacles in reverse, we talked about loneliness because this person is, you know, sitting here after a loss. I mean, what signals loss more than a gravestone? This is loss of an individual or someone. But the 3 of Cups in reverse, this is about loss of friendship. And as we said, we kind of talked about it a little bit. Sometimes your friends, the people that you love, may not understand why you are making these changes or why you are moving in these ways. They may not be able to come with you on this journey. If you do have friends that are supportive and understand you, I mean, that is incredible. They are worth their weight in gold. Those kinds of friends that are always with you and always for you. But sometimes when we move in these new paths, these new journeys for ourselves, we have to leave behind old friends. We have to leave behind people who are not supporting us, people who are not seeing the vision that we want for ourselves. And yes, it can be heartbreaking. I mean, the 3 of Cups literally has a heart. And the 3 of Cups in reverse, I mean, it can literally have this feeling of heartbreak about it. It's not easy to lose friends. It's not easy to lose loved ones. But I feel like, Libra, you need to be doing what's best for you. You need to be doing what's for your vision. I literally feel like you have such a great vision for yourself and the things that you want, what you want your life to look like. And there are some sacrifices that have to be made. And one of those very well could be sacrificing relationships. I said friendships, but it could be relationship partnerships or family members or co-workers, business partners that don't have the same vision for your life. And yeah, we had the parrot spirit. Watch your words. Make sure that, you know, you're not being cruel about it. Make sure that you're not being cruel to friends or loved ones. There are ways to break friendships without being cruel. Okay. Ooh, okay. So, Libra, I pulled some cards here from The Universe Has Your Back. My intention is to end this reading with some messages from the universe to help you along this journey, to give you some inspiration, to give you some support and guidance, and just to really reaffirm that the universe is always working towards your favor, towards your best thing, even if these moments of loss of friendship, loss of finances, in the moment they can feel very punishing. But as we said, the universe is not here to punish you. It is here to help you level up. It is here to help you ascend into a new reality for yourself, a new vibration. So, reading your cards here, your first one that came out, Libra, says, "Oneness is my true nature." Now, what is oneness? When we think about oneness, this is oneness with the universe, oneness with love. Depending on your beliefs, this could be, you know, oneness with God, oneness with source, spirit, whatever the case may be, oneness. Understanding that we are all one piece of the whole. We are all individual expressions of divinity. Oneness is my true nature. You are one with the universe. No matter what is going on, no matter what is happening within your life, losing things, very painful, but oneness is your true nature. Oneness and connection with source. And then your next card is, "In any moment, I can surrender to the powerful presence of love through prayer, contemplation, and stillness." So oneness is your true nature. And if you are struggling with connecting with oneness, if you are struggling with these feelings of separation from source, maybe you feel this sense of loneliness, not from your friends, but from God, from the universe. Maybe you feel as though you've been left behind in some way, as though, you know, you're having to exert your strength solo by yourself, as though, you know, you don't have support like you would like, or like you would not even like, support from what you need. You can reconnect by surrendering to the powerful presence of love through prayer, contemplation, and stillness. So meditation is going to be very, very helpful for you at this time. It's always very helpful. Meditation is literally one of the most important things that you can be doing for your mental health, for your spiritual health, emotional health, all of the above. Meditation is one of the most important tools to have in your toolkit. Prayer, you can pray to God, you can pray to any entity, you can pray to yourself, the universe, you can pray to your ancestors, your spirit guides, whatever the case may be. You know, prayer is not so much about who you are praying to, it's about the message that you are trying to convey. It's also, you know, a way of speaking to something that will always listen to you, someone that will always listen. And prayer has this way of like holding space for ourselves. Really, when we pray, we're holding space for ourselves because we're speaking to an entity that may not necessarily communicate directly back to us. You know, we're speaking not to be responded to. We're speaking so that we can be heard. Prayer is one of the ways to do that. Contemplation and stillness, I would say, runs along the lines of meditation. Contemplation can also kind of be this mindfulness practice is going to be very helpful for you at this time too. So anyway, Libra, that is where I'm going to leave your reading. This has been one of my favorite ones to do so far. I just feel this very powerful energy of transformation. I feel a very powerful energy of connectedness with source for you. And I'm really proud of you for making these changes. You know, I'm really proud of you for, even if you are moving outside of the realms of tradition, you're doing so. And by doing so, you're staying truthful to who you are. And that's one of the most powerful things that you can do for yourself. So anyway, once again, thank you so much for being here today, Libra, and I hope that you all have a good week, and I look forward to seeing you all again in the next videos.